Anyway, let's hear it.
Thank you so much.
In fact, you are the one in power, so
I should be given 20 minutes. I think 1 year on, I think the verdict is there for all to see. But there are even instances NPP MPs will approach you and tell you that, Charlie, if things are going the way they are going there, we are scared of ourselves in 2028. Well, I start by looking at some of the key issues, some of the key things that have happened. And one thing that Ghanaians have not really adverted their mind to, which is very key to our governance, is the issue of the uncapping of the common fund, the GET fund, the NHI levy. Look, we all sit here and we talk about decentralization, devolution of power. If you really want the local structures to work, you don't only give them power, but you give them resources. Today, in fact, when you look at when Nana took over in 2017, what he did was to cap the common fund, the GET fund, and the NHI. So to the extent that what was due them was no longer going to them. And a lot of the money was now brought to the central government. And we saw some of the frivolous and some of the wasteful contracts that were being given from central government. In fact, if you are doing one village, one dam, isn't it even proper that you let that assembly there, which has jurisdiction over that area that you are going to dig the dam, to even award the contract, because they would know the nuances of their area better than you, the central government. But all these monies were now brought to the center, and there was even a secretariat called One Village, One Dam Secretariat, and those monies given to the secretariat to now go and spend. No little wonder we saw the shambolic things that we saw with regards to that project. So, and this government came, and the first thing the government did was to uncap the common fund, the GET fund, and today, and not only do that, the government also came with another directive that, apart from the fact that the assemblies are now going to be getting these huge monies, I'm also bringing in a policy directive to say that 80% of whatever is due them must be sent to them. Initially, you could have an assembly in a year being entitled to 1 million Ghana cedis. Yeah, I mean, it is entitled to 1 million Ghana cedis, but at the end, it may not even get up to 500,000 or even 200,000. It was that serious. And you ask us, this is what we have even legislated that it should go to the assembly, but it was not going to the assembly. Today, John Mama is saying that now we are going to even have more going because of the uncapping. But even that, the policy is that central government cannot take more than 20% of what is due them. They should get 80% of that amount. And so now the assemblies are getting huge amount, to the extent that now, as a matter of policy, each assembly within each year, in fact, in my constituency, for instance, for the entire 8 years of NPP, they couldn't build a single chips compound. 8 years. Now, within this 1 year, we have already commenced construction of 2 chips compounds, because by the policy directive of the president, we are supposed to build 2 chips compounds within a year as an assembly. We are supposed to build 2 primary blocks within a year. We are supposed to build 2 JHS blocks within a year. We are supposed to build 2 kindergarten blocks within a year. And so you imagine repeating these numbers across for 4 years, 8 years. That is going to be done. So it means that within 4 years, the NDC government will be building over 500 chips compounds across the country. That is serious. And this is what we mean by true development, because you see, if you keep development at the center here, then you are really not doing anything for the people. Now, the economy is one area that we don't even need to talk about. And I want to clarify an issue that Ni raised with regards to the $10 billion US that has been pumped into the economy. You see, that practice has been there for some time. Almost every government does it. But people don't understand. It is not about the fact that the money is spent. No. You understand? It is not like you are spending the money and so why don't you rather spend it this way? It is like saying that the system needs dollars. People have their cedis chasing the dollar. The moment you let the dollar become a scarce commodity, chances are the price of it will go up. So why don't you let this dollar become available on the market?
What are they using the dollar for? They're going to use it to import goods.
But their importation is being done anyway, even without you giving it to them. You understand? So instead of you making it difficult for them, because the moment someone finds it difficult to get something, he's now ready to pay higher for that thing. So I'm going to remove that difficulty in he getting that, so that I make that then available. So the dollar will now be readily available by virtue of the BOG pumping it. But the BOG is not wasting it, because the person in coming to take the dollar will have to put CD to take the dollar. So the money is still at BOG, but you understand, but it is being converted. So that is what we call intermediation and not necessarily spending. In fact, if you look at the NPP in the election year, between May 2024 to December 2024, $2.8 billion was pumped into the economy. The issue is that I always agree with people who say that merely pumping money into the economy stabilizes the city. It does a lot, but it does not on its own do the magic. That is why you have the same pumping being done in the last NPP era, but we didn't see this steady decline in dollars, in the value of the dollar. You understand? But today we have the same thing being done, but now you have the dollar responding quickly. It means that not just that, but we are also cutting down on our wastages. We are being prudent in how we spend. Look, the primary balance, if you look at the IMF program, initially before NDC came, one of the anchors, the anchor they were using was what we call the primary balance on cash basis. When you do primary balance on cash basis, what it means is that, okay, you the government, if you are reporting that between January to June, IMF says you spend only 3 billion, and January to June you have spent cash 5 billion. You have exceeded what IMF says you should spend. Now that is primary balance on cash basis. Now they have revised it. They are not saying that, they have seen that people are hiding under the cash basis and are doing commitments. So even though the cash they may have spent is 5 billion, they have actually committed 20 billion. So what will be reported to IMF will be the cash that has been spent. So it will let IMF make its decision based on the cash. Now the real figures come and they say that, oh, this Minister of Energy has already committed paying some money. Roads has committed this. Finance has committed. So IMF says that, okay, we'll change it from being cash based to now being commitment based. So when they come to tell you that is why now the finance minister will quickly come to parliament and say that we are not going to amend our law to say that whenever a contract is awarded, no minister, like Jose said, no minister can award a contract without, no contract above this value can be commenced without a commencement certificate by the finance minister, because now he has to be sure what you are committing as a ministry, so that he captures it, so that he knows whether he's giving you the space to do it or not, so that he can accurately also report back to the IMF. And if that is done, and we are ending the IMF program in April next year, and we are going to be using the reporting phase of January to May. Now, if that is done and we pass all the parameters and we are off the IMF, then we can now look at the issues again. Because we are under this strain because of the IMF conditionalities that we have to be doing things the way they should be done. Okay. On the issue of the power, I am happy. In fact, if you look at what happened, the last time we met JM, His Excellency, he painted a very serious picture to us. The Ghana gas in Atwabu, NDC established this Ghana gas plant. When we were leaving power, the total number of employees for Ghana Gas was 200 in 2016 when NDC was leaving power. I haven't established it. Now the government came, a new government comes to power. For 8 years, no single capacity has been added to Ghana Gas. No single capacity. But today, having left power, if you go back to Ghana Gas, the total number of employees has shot up from 200 to 1,250. That is 1,050 additional employees, and you have not expanded the capacity of the same facility. So today, that is why sometimes we are not able to even respond to our people who are crying for jobs, because they will say people come, I want Ghana Gas, yet even Ghana Gas is overstaffed.
What about the nurses and teachers? We need the teachers.
No, even if you take me there, that is even worse for you. For 4 good years, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, the entire second term of Nana Agulu, not even a single nurse was employed. The whole 4-year badge was left like that. No, that's true. It's very true. 4 years, you never. The last when we took over, the last badge we employed was 2020 badge. No, it's up to you if you can even do it now. So today, for instance, this year, Akando announced that we are taking 13,500 nurses.
Okay.
Those are from 2021 cohorts. 2021. So if you had employed 2021, by what we will be going for 2021, we would have been moving to 2022.
Okay.
So today the tech. So you see, so a lot of the things that were supposed to be done before the coming into
no, but
that's why I said that. You see, some of this, I spent the time responding to some of the things. One key issue that also,
and you have to land on that note for me because my time is up. My time is up.
Look at the size of the government. You understand? We had a situation where we had 125 ministers running this government. Yet even the way the affairs were being managed was bizarre. Today, today we have how many? Less than 60, 58.
But it's more expensive.
It's more expensive. What you are forgetting is that, you see, when they are doing this analysis, is when he does this, I switch to other areas.
All the people
No, and your time, even though there was the office of the government machinery,
because you are now
there was the office of the government machinery. There was the office of the government machinery. Remember, there was also a ministry of information which had a separate budget. So you didn't add it to the office of the government machinery budget. We have collapsed the ministry of information, and so that budget is now coming under government. So if you look at the government budget, you will see it as a very big budget. And so, Senator, all I want to say is that Ghanaians have not regretted voting for the NDC. I'll land on this, the OSP. I have my own strong opinion on OSP, but thank God, you see, the president sees further than any of us from where he sits. So if the president is calling for the OSP's office to be maintained, and is asking the OSP to also expedite his prosecution of these cases, we can only help in that regard. But if you left it to us as individuals, just like the majority leader and the majority chief, I would have said that the OSP's office should be scrapped. But given where the president sits, and given that he sees much wider than any of us, and his current call for us to keep the office, we can only support him and then see to it that the OSP succeeds at least, and not. But he should also sit there. He shouldn't be spending time on frivolous prosecution. He should concentrate on where the meat is, and let us get there. The Ken must return. If the America FBI can come here and arrest our guys here and there, left and right, if our investigative authorities are helping Americans to arrest Abu Trika, to arrest all those people, then what stops them from also helping us to pick Ken Oferiatta from wherever he is in America and bring him to face justice here in Ghana?
Thank you. Thank you very much.